Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy coming at you again, live and direct, with another one like the other one, but just a little bit different. So, I got something special for you fighters out there, right? You know, you fighters who are into anything that has to do with the physical world, right? So, I caught up on a previous fight that took place. And I always used to see the previews. I mean, I've been seeing previews, and I was seeing highlights after the preview before the fight took place. Then I was seeing highlights, right? So I never seen the whole fight all the way through. For some reason, I just never seen the whole fight. So I decided to watch the whole fight, and the fight was Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. And boy, was I in for a surprise. Man, I'm gonna say, look, Floyd came this close to losing his championship. Okay. Um, it was a real good fight. And, I believe that, Floyd might have been a little bit intimidated by Conor McGregor going into the fight. I don't think that Floyd was all the way on top of his game. Okay. And I believe that Conor McGregor did some things in the ring that kind of take him off his game. You know, first and foremost, I'm not choosing sides. I'm not choosing one over the other. This is just based on observation, right? I'm on the outside looking in. I don't know these fighters personally, nor do I claim to give professional expert opinion, right? But I truly believe that like minds think alike, in that there's some things that I'm going to say right now that there's people who not only agree with it, but they believe wholeheartedly that this is actually what they observed when they seen these two fighters come together. And one thing that I noticed is that McGregor had Floyd in a state of confusion. He was switching up his stances on him. He was maneuvering a certain way. He was giving Floyd a picture in the ring that Floyd wasn't used to. He wasn't used to seeing a fighter maneuver like this. And it was two champions coming together. Okay. Let's overlook and not even give attention to the fact that they're two different type of champions. Okay. If you want to get, more technical, McGregor is more of a champion than Floyd. And the reason why is because McGregor is an all-around fighter. Floyd Mayweather is one-dimensional. McGregor, he knows how to use his hands. He knows how to use his feet. Okay. He knows how to do submission holds, takedowns. He knows how to grapple on the ground. He's an all-around fighter, and he has more than one belt. I think he had like two or three belts, right? And he's fought numerous champions and beat them. So, this is a different animal on a different level compared to Floyd Mayweather, who he's a champion in boxing. He's a one-dimensional fighter who's the best at what he does, which is boxing. But if you was to take him out of boxing and you were to put him into, a street fight situation, it's not the same thing no more. Not saying that he couldn't hold his own. It's just the minute you open up those doors and you start using these other things, and you get involved in this three-dimensional world, it's different, right? So based on that alone, Conor McGregor had the advantage over Floyd Mayweather. Okay. Um, and Conor McGregor, based on, his level of experience when it comes to switching up and learning how to fight different ways, he had the advantage in that way. Now, where Floyd had the advantage is that when it comes to just specifically just boxing itself, okay, he is one of the best who ever did it. Okay, you can't say he's the GOAT, but he's definitely one of the best who ever did it, because there were great boxers that came before him. So being that he's the best who ever did it, and he's actually considered to be the best right now in his weight class, right? McGregor was stepping into Floyd's house. Floyd invited him into his house. So based on the situation, Floyd Mayweather was supposed to just take over and dominate and control. And that's not what happened. The first 4 or 5 rounds, Conor McGregor was teaching them lessons. First round, he taught him a lesson. Second round, he taught him a lesson. Third round, he taught him a lesson. What I witnessed, what I observed was someone who's used to dealing with traditional boxers fighting against someone who's not even a traditional martial artist, right? And he was in a state of instability. And sometimes it looked like he was probably confused. The referees and the people, they let Conor McGregor get away with the unintentional uses, illegal usages of the hand, the hammer fist. There's no hammer fisting in the back of the head in traditional boxing, right? So they let him get away with that a couple of times because they understand that thing called muscle memory. He's so used to doing it that he automatically just does it. And so when he did that, they let him slide. But the sidestepping, the maneuvering around your opponent and giving yourself the advantage, they look around, you're not there, you're behind them. McGregor was doing that to Floyd all night. Okay. And what I noticed is that Floyd had a hard time dealing with that. The decisive thing that played a part in this fight was physical conditioning. Physical conditioning and the fact that Floyd Mayweather has trained himself to be able to take a punch. Boxers train themselves in certain areas. They focus on certain areas of the body, specifically the neck, right? The head area, the neck, right? And their ability to withstand a punch. They pay a lot of attention to this area because um, if you're not strong enough to take a punch, you can really hurt yourself. You could easily get knocked out. So there's muscles and things that you condition to prepare you for the ring. And boxers spend a lot of time doing these things. So Floyd took a uppercut, a clear, decisive uppercut that McGregor gave him. Floyd took it to the chin, and it didn't really phase him too much. He took it, right? Now, if Floyd wasn't in good physical conditioning, that would have been the game over. You know what I'm saying? But because Floyd conditions that area, he was able to handle that uppercut with poise, stay into the fight, and continue to roll with the punches and make the moves he needed to make in the ring. Um, the decisive thing that played a part in how the fight turned out was the fact that McGregor ran out of gas. It's as simple as that. He got tired. He didn't know how to conserve his energy as much as he needed to conserve his energy for a long fight. And the minute he ran out of gas, Floyd Mayweather, he went in for the kill. He went in for the kill and he took him completely out, right? But before he ran out of energy, before he ran out of gas and got winded, you know, he was actually schooling Mayweather on certain areas that he's probably never been schooled in. See, martial arts is like this one gigantic universe. And you may be a master of one, but you'll never be a master of all. You can be a master of one, knower of many. You'll never be a knower of all, but you can be a master of one and knower of many, right? But you'll never be a master of all, and you'll never be someone who knows it all, right? You can be really good at what you do to the point where you're able to relate to other arts, right? So even if you look at the best who ever did it, they wasn't a master of all. They was a master at what they did, and they had knowledge of other arts that relate to what they do, and they was able to see things from that looking glass, right? Um, so when you are tried and tested, I believe that this McGregor fight um was Floyd's test. I believe this was Floyd's test. And you know, there was a mirror that was put right in front of him as a fighter, and it let him know what his weaknesses are. In order for you to be great, in order for you to improve those things about yourself, you have to know where your weaknesses are at. And in order for you to really know where your weaknesses are at, you got to be tried and struggle. And you got to go up against opponents, real opponents. You are who you fight. As a champion, as a great fighter, you are the people that you fight. So if you're fighting scrubs, you're fighting people that don't know how to fight, you'll never ever reach that level that you need to reach. But when you're fighting other champions, you're fighting people that are on that same level as you or greater, that's how you elevate to the next level. That's how you become not only good at what you do, that's how you become great at what you do. Look, I'm not knocking Floyd's performance all the way through. I'm not saying that he didn't perform. I'm not saying that he didn't get no licks in. He got some licks in. He performed. But in this match, he was outclassed. McGregor outclassed him. And the only reason he lost, the only reason Floyd won, is because Floyd was in better shape. And not only I know that, Floyd Mayweather knows that too.